Welcome to the channel and poker vlog number 1. I appreciate family and friends, coworkers, everybody making it here. If you made it here off the YouTube algorithm, I appreciate you here as well. Thanks for joining. Please watch all the way through. It's pretty exciting for a first poker vlog in my personal opinion. So I started playing poker back in high school, $20 tournaments Friday nights, 5 people, 10 people, built up to like 20, 25 people. We had winner take all, so you could walk away with, I don't know, $500, $600, $700 in your pocket. Kept me pretty passionate about the game back in high school. After high school, I moved up to college, about 4 hours away. Didn't have a whole lot of friends that came with me. I didn't know the local poker rooms, so I kind of transitioned to online play. I played online here and there for a couple of years, then I kind of lost my traction, slowed down a whole lot. Once I got my degree though, I moved out to Montana, of all places, who actually has a pretty good poker scene. In Great Falls, Montana, I found my poker room. It was a single table poker room, limit game, which is good, just getting back into it after taking a hiatus through college. But I got to sit down at the limit game, got to know the dealer, got to know the other clientele. It was a really friendly, cool game. And the dealer is actually the person who, among other nicknames, came up with StramDawg, and that's what kind of stuck. So welcome again to StramDawg Poker. Why watch me over anybody else's poker vlogs though? Well, I don't really have a great reason. All the other guys that are doing it, they're in the game, they know what they're doing. They're also probably more experienced than me in a lot of aspects, video editing, poker, everything to do with what this channel is about. But where I kind of fit in, I have a full-time job. I can only commit so many hours to poker every month. I can't even go weekly, and that's kind of where we all come together. I don't have a huge bankroll. I can't fire 5, 10, 15, $1,000 bullets in a weekend. It just doesn't work like that for me. So where we fit in is going to be in the tournament structure, $200 to $500 buy-ins. Maybe once in a while we're going to try to poke our heads into a $1,000 plus tournament, but that's getting kind of at the far top side of our budget here. Aside from those tournaments, I do have a local cash game that plays 1-3 no limit, so I can go there to supplement kind of my tournament plays when there's nothing good going on around town. Outside of that, this first vlog, like I said, it's a good one. We are at the World Series of Poker 2023. We're in the mini main event for $1,000. It's my biggest buy-in ever. Let's take this ride, see how we do. Finally, what you are all here for, a great picture of my chip stack. For real though, we have waited 6.5 hours. We are in level 11 and we get our seat. We are ready to go. I just want a couple hands to get a feel for the table where I don't have to play. I want to see how everybody's raising, what our average bet size, how many people are 3-betting and all that. When I look at my first hand of ace queen suited, my strategy goes directly out the window. I'm going to raise from under the gun +2 to 6.5 thousand. It's about 2.5 big blinds. Everyone is going to fold and give me my first pot of the tournament in my first hand. Pretty excited. Now I can sit back, watch everybody as I plan to do. Except when I get my second hand, I get red pocket kings under the gun +1. Again, I'm going to go back to raising. This time I make it 12,000. Fold all the way back to the button. He takes about half a minute before he decides he wants me to have as many chips as he can let me have. So he goes all in. The small blind gets out of the way. I make the snap call. Got about 85,000 in my hand. We go flip over our cards and he shows ace queen offsuit. My ace magnets are going to hold. They don't get outdrawn by any aces, no straights, nothing silly. So 2 hands in, about 2 minutes of sitting at this table. I have doubled my chip stack. I'm feeling great. And now I can finally sit down, sit back, relax until I peel my cards in under the gun. And again, I have ace queen suited. This time it's clubs. I'm going to make one more raise to 8,000. And for the third time, no, I don't win this hand. But we're going to get 2 callers here. And we're going 3 ways to a flop. We see a flop of Jack 8-3. I'm going to check here. Small blind doesn't hesitate to push all of his chips in. And I fold middle position calls with a set of threes, actually, against top pair of Jack 9. So I get out of the way, and now I actually can finally sit back, relax, and start watching how the rest of this tournament goes. Things get quiet for the next 2 to 3 levels until finally I look at pocket ducks. I'm going to min raise from middle position. The big blind's the only player to stick around. He's not going to be super excited when he sees a flop of Jack, Jack, Duck. Action goes check, check on the flop and the turn. Both blanks on the turn and river. I'm going to throw in 6K, and big blind believes that I do indeed have my ducks in a row, and he makes the fold rather quackly. What this picture is showing is my reward for winning that pot. I get a few chips, but I also get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We slowed down again going into dinner break. This is the chip stack I bring there. It's about 230,000, and as you see here, we are riding just above average. We've got about 1,400 players left, and when we come back from dinner break, we'll see how many make the money and how long we have to battle to get there. Coming back from dinner break, we remain slow for a couple more levels. However, I strategically stack these same chips into a different configuration to intimidate my opponents into making the folds when I do enter the pot. But that really doesn't happen. We are going to hang out with this 225,000 roughly chip stack for about 4, 5, maybe even 6 levels. And we finally arrive at the next break after dinner, and we see that there are 860 players left. 789 make the money. So we're getting pretty close. Our average stack is about 340K. So we're kind of creeping downwards in that aspect. But I'm feeling pretty good about making a min cash here. And that's not the goal, but it is going to be a big milestone. That said, let's see if we can lock in this min cash, continue on to hopefully the final table and some big money. Here it is, guys. Finally, the first hand you get to see recorded at the table. It is not my hand, though. It is a pocket kings versus pocket queens all in on the bubble. Pocket queens is at risk here, and they don't find the 2 outer versus the kings, and we make it to the money. The bubble burst, and here's a short video of everybody celebrating around the table. After the bubble burst, the table starts breaking like it's WWE training camp. That said, the last hand I get at my table before we draw new seats, I wake up with pocket tens. Obviously, this is not a picture from the action. As I said, I did not get many of the hands I wanted recorded. I wasn't planning on making a video, but this is what my tens looked like. Slightly different, though. So we make it all in. We get one caller, ends up having pocket nines. Pretty good scenario for me. Tens hold. I reserve the right to get a seat card for my next table and a quick double up before we make it over there. This would end up being the last seat I'm assigned for the rest of the night. About 20 minutes after I arrive here, I channel the biggest Brad Owen energy I can, and I wake up in the small blind with pocket jiggities. Blinds have gone up now to 10,000, 25,000. I am sitting with about 145,000 in my stack, and when the button goes minimum raise, my only viable option is to jam. I stick it all in there, and the big blind doesn't immediately fold. Instead, he's going to re-jam. He has me and the button covered. The button folds after just a short thought, and for my tournament life, we're going heads up to a flop. When the big blind rolls over ace-10, though, I'm feeling a lot better about my situation. I was anticipating at best a flip, so this is looking pretty good. It's important to note here that I am seated in seat 2. The big blind is in seat 3, which means that we both have a perfect view of the window when the dealer exposes the ace. I'm not feeling great. Slide my chair back. I'm ready to get up, call it a night. And when the dealer spreads the rest of the flop, it exposes the miracle jiggity. We have flopped a set. The turn and river give no sweat. I make a crucial double up, and now I'm sitting with about 12 big blinds. Not even 10 minutes later, I'm visited by John Wayne and Troy Aikman. These cowboys invite me to be their third member of the Three Amigos, but before I can go with them, I've got to prove my dueling skills. So I shoot my 350k chip stack to the center, begin my slow count to 10. Only one person at the table is allowed to call, as duels are only fair when they're mano-a-mano. One player does oblige in the small blind. He takes aim at my entire chip stack, trying to end my tournament life. Then a second player pulls out a hidden revolver, blasts his small stack into the fray from the big blind. It's good news for me, as the opponent that has me covered flips over ace-queen, reminiscing of way back into my second hand of the tournament, while the small stack tables 5-8 offsuit. Let's take a look at the run out, see who's left standing after this three-man duel. Just like that, I walk away with another double up. Now I'm over 700,000. We say goodbye to the small stack. His consolation prize is my place on the trip to the Wild West with John and Troy. We have no time to get our heart rate down, as the very next hand I'm dealt pocket jacks. From under the gun, I make the raise to 50,000. It folds all the way to our previous opponent, and he's going to put himself at risk, going all in. And I am the only caller here. I'm going to snap call with my jacks. The opponent turns over pocket sevens. We've both got spade and a club, so his only chance is one of the last two sevens or a couple unfortunate straight draws. But the board runs out clean. I get away with another large pot near the end of day one. This pot's going to put me over 1 million chips for the first time of the tournament, and my first time ever in a live tournament, so this is kind of cool. I peak at just over 1.1 million, and then during the last level of the night, I'm going to get caught 3-betting light with ace-jack offsuit. I'm going to get called by about a 250,000 stack. He shows ace-queen. I apologize to my sacrificial chips, and the board does not improve me there. The last level of the night is fairly card dead. With about 4 hands left, I'm ready to lock up my first ever day 2. I'm feeling euphoric as I count and recount my chips before placing them in my first bag 4 hands later. I'm going to be starting day 2 in about 10 hours. I have 835,000 chips, good enough for 21 big blinds when we start tomorrow. We've already made a handful of pay jumps through the rest of day 1. With only 426 players remaining, I can't wait to sit back down and start one more day of poker. As I make my way to my table for day 2, it becomes immediately apparent that I'm pretty new to multi-day tournaments, as I am like the 3rd player in the entire tournament to sit back down. I don't really mind though, as it gives me some time to relish in the moment. All the stress from day 1 is long gone. I can take some time to appreciate everything that today means to me as a player. The moment gets even more special as my friend from the late registering line from day 1 makes a stop at my table to surprise me with a gift. She gives me this nice cool t-shirt commemorating the World Series of Poker. We've been texting throughout the tournament, and we both managed to bag for day 2. Day 2 starts back up at level 23. Blinds are 20k, 40k, 40k. We are quiet for just a little while. We only call 1 small stacks all in. We have ace-queen versus their ace-6. They catch a pair, and it takes us about 200,000 chips from us. 20 minutes later, we make another mistake. We have pocket 9s in the big blind. Folds all the way to the small blind, who jams all in. I think for a while, this is my deepest run in my biggest tournament ever. So I don't think I'm quite ready to make a call for a flip just yet. I do end up making the fold. Small blind later shares it had ace-10 offsuit. I'm not super upset with this news because, like I said, I wasn't ready to go to a flip just yet. So I am okay dropping the pocket 9s. Here we are, finally. 8 minutes into day 2, we look down at pocket aces for the first time, not just of today, but the entire tournament. Unfortunately, I get a little overexcited. I jam all in for 630,000, and I get exactly 0 calls. No more excitement comes when I get ace-queen, and I make a 3x bet. And then a couple hands later, I get ace-king in the hijack, and again, I make it 3x bet. Nobody calls either of those hands. Not to worry though, our flame is not out just yet. A couple hands later, we look down at red pocket 4s. With a small stack, we have about 8 big blinds remaining. My first mistake comes when I raise to 3 big blinds. This raise still gets 5 people to fold, and then under the gun tanks for just over a minute, jams the rest of his chips in. Everybody else folds, and I don't have great feelings right now, but I'm short stacked. I have a pocket pair. Let's make the call, hoping to see a flip against ace king or ace queen. My bad feelings are confirmed though. Whenever the opponent flips over pocket kings, I immediately feel way worse. This is about the worst case scenario I could have had here, but still have 20% odds to suck out and sneak away with a double up. The flop, however, does not comply. It comes queen, deuce, queen. The turn comes another 2, and I have 2 cards left for the river to give me a miracle. The river comes. It is a 5. Well, I've run out of chips. The dealer doesn't let me leave though, because I have busted well into the money and I've got to collect my cash out ticket. All right, 304. 304 of just over 5,200. We made it through 15 hours of poker. We defeated almost 5,000 opponents. All said and done, this ticket is good for just shy of 3xing the buy-in. We walk away with $2,994 in our pocket. I'm going to make one more stop into my favorite line ever, which is the cash out line. Well, there you have it. Multiple firsts and a great personal accomplishment of mine. My first $1,000 buy-in and cash out. It's my first 4-digit tournament cash out ever, let alone in the World Series of Poker. This time spent on and off the felt here was awesome. I can't wait to make it back, hopefully next year, with a bigger bankroll and a more filled out schedule for WSOP 2024. If you've made it this far, I want to send my sincere gratitude for following along with me on this journey, and I look forward to getting more content posted for you to watch once you've made it through all of the other bigger vloggers' content. I know I'm not your first choice, I'm just glad you're here. Until next time, drop some comments letting me know what you want to see next or what would bring you back for more. Until then, may you crack all the aces and straight all of your flushes. StramDawg out.